This video will take a look at how to program a very long part like this, 300 inches long, on a machine that has a 60-inch by 120-inch cutting envelope. Might be something similar to one of these machines here that has a conveyor to bring the material into the cutting zone. And when you're done cutting, convey that material out and bring in new material. It can either be individual sheets or a roll of material. Something like this, you're going to decide how many sections you want to break this up into. Since it's nice round 300 inches, we'll probably break it up into 300-inch segments. So probably first thing to do would be to put in some lines to demarcate where those areas are. Draw a line up there, use my offset command, 100 inches, and another 100 inches. So now I've got an idea of where I need to put my different tool paths. And we'll go ahead and create our parts. We'll create the tool path, but then we're going to delete this outside cutoff of here. And then we're going to disconnect this tool path. Right now it's connected to the part. Go to my Modify submenu, Disconnect. Click somewhere on that tool path, hit Enter, and now when I click on that rapid line, we see that this tool path is now disconnected from the part, which gives us some more capabilities. First of all, we're going to go ahead and break these rapids. So we've got 3 separate toolpath chains here. So toolpath submenu and break. Click on that rapid and that rapid. And then, as demonstrated in one of my prior videos, might be easier in the future steps to rename these different toolpaths, so distinguish what's what. So I'll select that toolpath and go into my parts submenu properties. I'll call these ones the left holes, and we'll call these ones the middle holes. And let's call these ones the right holes. And now we'll put our tool paths around the outside. For that we'll use our quick command. And let's see, we're not going to connect to parts, so we'll turn that off. You could do either compensated or uncompensated, depending on how accurate you want it to be. If it's water only, probably be fine just checking uncompensated. Click OK. Start point. So where we're going to start our first cut here, which will be on the, we'll call the right end. And we'll go from this end point here. And basically you want to start your lead in such that it's going to be slightly to the right of this line, because in the next step here, we're going to use that to distinguish whether this cut is going to be in the first cut zone or the second cut zone. But we'll start here, start point. Path, when that's highlighted yellow, we left click. Endpoint will be up here. I'm going to right click, choose intersection of here, and we're doing this portion of it, so left click and hit enter and close. So if we zoom in, right now this lead in is right on that 100-inch line. I'm actually going to edit that slightly, change the angle a little bit. So one way to do that would be to go into my edit area here, click on that, and change this angle to something like 120. So it's looking at this toolpath and it'll clearly see that this pierce point is going to be in this cutting zone. Close out of there. And we'll do something similar on the next cut along the top edge here. So in this box here, the other option would be, if I specify leads, I can tell the lead type, length of lead in, length of lead out. And again, we'll leave both of these unchecked, click OK, start point. So if I do this option for my start point, if I just right click and intersection, and then the path, which will be this way, and then the end, we're going to right click and do intersection again. And then this is the section we want to cut. I left click, and then for the lead, we'll zoom in. So by using this lead version, I can just move my mouse around to an angle again. In this case, I want to be a little bit to the left of the vertical line there. So as long as I hit enter when it's oriented like that, that'll be good. And then for lead out, I can either go like that, or if I want to make sure that's going to separate or overlap the next cut, I can go like this and hit enter. And then we'll do the bottom in a similar fashion. We'll go endpoint and left click when that's highlighted. End, we're going to right click endpoint there. Left click when that's highlighted. And then my lead in, again, this one I want to be on the right side of the line there. So it's like that. I can hit enter. And lead out, again, if I want to overlap a little bit, once like this, I can hit enter. And enter and close. And then for the last section here, we'll go back to our quick. Leave all this the same, click OK, start point. So we'll start down here and left click when that's highlighted, endpoint, right click, intersection there. When that's yellow, we left click and then again lead in. That's like that. I'll hit enter. And if I want a little bit of overlap again, right click like that. And then close. We'll go ahead and apply our order. At the right holes, quick for the outside, the middle holes. This we'll want to move down in our cut sequence. Those are for the middle. Got the left holes, and then that. So that sequence looks good. Close and then process. If I'm using a J-series machine, I can check this box here to use the different conveyor options, telling it that we're doing roll processing. And then here we're using 100 for those 100-inch sections that we're doing. And then this length correction can be used to adjust for any inaccuracy in the chain movement. If you cut one of these and you find out that it's a little bit short, you can put a positive number in here, and the next time that you do it, the chain will index instead of 100 inches. If you had put it 0.25 in here for correction, I'll do that so we can see it, then it'll index the chain 100.25 inches. And then we've got options to have it automatically load the material at the start of the program. If you want to load to index the chain when it's done, additional chain index for that. So we've got this M410 that loads the material to the photo eye, and then it'll go and cut those two holes and then wrap it over. That pierce point here, since this pierce point, the Y value is less than 100, then it knows that it's still within this cut zone, and then cuts around the outside. Once it's done with that cut, zeroes out the chain position, moves it the 100.25 inches for that chain correction factor, resets our X and Y values, cuts two more holes, cuts the top edge, bottom edge, index the chain, reset our X and Y. Actually, it's only resetting Y. X doesn't really need to be reset, but anyways, cut the holes, and then cut the outside. So that's how you can cut a long part on J-series machine with a conveyor. If any questions, let me know. Thanks.